Water. Earth. Fire. Air.
You guys are not gonna believe this. Team Avatar is back. Air, water, earth, fire.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie. We have the best possible news. We have an early preview of scenes that they're filming for the Avatar The Last Airbender Netflix series, so we'll break it down. Of course, I'll be doing all kinds of videos for the series, just like I did for Legend of Korra and the original Avatar The Last Airbender series, so if you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get everything, because they are ramping up quickly. I'll also talk about the actual release date after I talk about the scenes that they were filming. So starting with number 8, big breakdown. There was a person working on set, probably production assistant, that recorded all the stuff that they were doing. So RIP to him, but his job died so that we could see what's going on with the new Avatar The Last Airbender series. So I'll just read what his message was when he posted this on the internet. He says, I got a chance to work on a visual effects test for the new live action series and I thought I'd share the experience. Probably going to be the last experience that he has with this particular effects house. But he says, we filmed some test scenes in a huge screen studio in Los Angeles, one in Fire Lord Ozai's throne room and the other in the tundra with Katara and Sokka. All the backdrops were keyed digitally, because some of the scenes that they'll be filming will be so crazy that they'll have to use the digital environment replacement, which is what they call it on the Star Wars Mandalorian series. They do it all the time in the Star Wars universe, when the place that they need to film at is so crazy that there is no real-life place that they can go to do that, particularly the Fire Lord's palace. 7. The actors. James Liu played Fire Lord Ozai, Kevin Garner played Sokka, and Kate Buati played Katara. You may have seen James Liu if you've watched a lot of old martial arts films. He's pretty badass, but most of the time now, when he's not working as an actor, he works as a stunt coordinator. The biggest thing that he did lately was coordinating all the fights for Marvel's Luke Cage series on Netflix, so he's done a lot of Netflix work before. The actors that they had playing Sokka and Katara are relatively new, but they give you a good idea for how young the actors are going to be in the actual series. They were just using those people as stand-ins, so they'll be different actors when the series actually premieres, because they're still casting the series right now. The throne room scene consisted of a bunch of test shots of Fire Lord Ozai sitting on the throne. They said they saw him doing a bunch of weird stuff that probably won't make it into the actual series. They just wanted to get a sense for what it was going to look like inside his palace, because obviously you see this on the riser here with his throne. Everything around it is going to be replicated digitally. So this isn't what it's going to look like on the actual series. This is them just testing out digital environment replacement for his throne room, just to make it look really, really crazy. Also pretty sure they're not going to make Fire Lord Ozai wear a weird looking hat like that in the actual episodes. But 6. Sokka and Katara's scene had dialogue and a bunch of action. They were bickering about Sokka's boomerang and how they needed to hunt for fish when a group of quote-unquote marauders spotted them and chased them away. Katara yelled, threw up a wall of ice to protect them waterbending. Sokka freaked out and said, Katara, you're a waterbender, as if they'd never seen her waterbend before, and this was the first time. Even Katara was surprised that she was able to waterbend. The marauders freak out and take off, and they're saved. So 5, right away, you realize that some of those scenes weren't in the original episodes, or in the case of the Fire Lord Ozai scene they were filming, that didn't happen till way later in the first season, and Fire Lord Ozai himself didn't really appear in an episode in a really big way as Mark Hamill till future seasons. Based on Mike and Brian's synopsis of the series that they released last year when they first announced, hey, we're bringing Avatar The Last Airbender back on Netflix, they said it's going to be a deeper retelling of the original Avatar The Last Airbender series, but that only ran for 61 episodes of half-hour animation. The new Netflix series will be hour-long live action, and going deeper, as you probably guessed, means they'll be adding a lot of material to the original story. So very clearly, the scenes that they were filming with Sokka and Katara are from that very first episode, Boy in the Ice. But during the original first episode, she already knows how to waterbend in the very first scene, literally the first scene, when they're catching fish.
Sokka, I caught one! It's not magic, it's water bending.
Sokka refers to her waterbending as playing with magic water, so just expect them to spend more time with each of the Team Avatar members as they learn more about their own individual bending styles. Like spending way more time with Toph once she shows up in a future season and starts learning more about her earth bending and eventually learns how to metal bend. We already spent a ton of time in the original series with Zuko practicing his fire bending, lightning bending, same thing with Azula, so it won't be quite as big of a change for those characters. So what might be going on with them having Katara learning to be a waterbender for the first time in the first season might just be a parallel for Aang's story learning to waterbend during the first season. For, like they said when they released all these scenes, these are supposed to be temp actors, even though James Liu is a total martial arts badass. Netflix is spending Game of Thrones level money on the series, so they will probably cast a much more recognizable actor for Fire Lord Ozai. I did see someone reporting a rumor that Mark Hamill was going to actually come back and be live-action Fire Lord Ozai because he was the voice of the character on the animated series.
Prince Zuko, you've been among the Earth Kingdom commoners. Do you think that adding more troops will stop these rebellions?
But based on what Mike and Brian have said about the new episodes, I don't believe that at all. It will probably wind up being a relatively high-profile Asian actor. Same goes for Sokka and Katara, but the ages of these actors give you a pretty good idea for how old they'll be at the beginning of the series. Actors in their late teens, early 20s, playing characters in their mid-teens. Sokka was only 16 at the beginning of Season 1 of the animated series. Katara was only 14. They might age them up a couple years, but they'd still be teenagers, still pretty close to their original ages. 3, talking about the special effects, the fights, the bending, the actual world building. Because they're in the middle of finishing up doing early visual effects testing, they're also probably finishing early casting with the core Season 1 Team Avatar members in the next few months. They might wait to announce their cast, but I'd at least expect them to announce who their Avatar Aang is going to be. That's way too big to bury till next year. And as much as young actors can become great martial artists, I fully expect them to use every last trick in modern technology in every giant bag of money they can to make the actual martial arts and bending effects look really, really cool. And ignoring what that all looked like during the original live-action movie, don't waste your time going back and watching that. Standard practice in Hollywood is usually they just get a really badass stunt double and perform a lot of digital facial replacement for the craziest fight scenes. Best example of that is a couple of years ago during Game of Thrones Season 7, they released a featurette for the Arya versus Brienne fight. Maisie Williams trained as much as she could to actually do the scene, but they had a stunt double that was basically her same size do the fight scene, and then they just swapped Maisie Williams' face onto her face. So it looked like she was actually doing this the whole time. Probably going to be the exact same situation with the live-action Avatar The Last Airbender series. They also do a lot of this digital environment replacement where they have, green screen or blue screen, and then they have this crazy planet or a crazy building that they're inside. So I wouldn't be super worried about what everything is going to look like. It sounds like they have the right technology and they're spending the right amount of money. And I believe that Sifu Kisu is also coming back to advise on a lot of their actual martial arts fights and the bending styles.
What differentiates the essences of these different martial arts forms?
Firebending, of course, we use the dynamic and artistic movements of the Northern Shaolin style. The powerful kicks, the punches, the low stances, the nearly acrobatic movements. It cuts through the center of mass of the opponent. It slices right through.
2, release date and episode count. There's a landing page that Netflix created for the series that says 2020, next freaking year. That is crazy. I was not expecting it to premiere until 2021 at the rate that they were going the last time Mike and Brian posted a production update. But if they're planning on releasing it next year, that means that they have to finish casting really, really soon and start shooting before the end of the year. The only way they'd be able to shoot and edit all those episodes by the end of next year is if they're only doing 8 to 10 episodes per season. Netflix did the exact same thing with the Witcher series and Henry Cavill. They only did 8 episodes for their season 1, but it took them less than a year to turn it around and do all those special effects. I even saw some newspaper claiming that they were going to release the Avatar The Last Airbender series next summer, which seems crazy. I think that they'll have a trailer to bring to Comic-Con next summer, but unless Mike and Brian come out and say something different, I'm not expecting it to premiere till the end of next year. So number 1, Season 1 story arc early predictions. If they're retelling the original story, they only do around 10 episodes per season. Expanding the original half-hour episodes to a full hour, planning on 5 to 6 seasons instead of the original 3. They'd either have to A, end the first season with the 2-parter Winter Solstice episodes where Aang gets the Avatar Roku message and then they come to the Fire Temple to learn about Sozin's Comet and his path as the Avatar is laid out. They learn that they have to make it to the Northern Water Tribe to teach Aang how to waterbend so that he can become a fully actualized Avatar and defeat Fire Lord Ozai before he becomes too powerful. Or B, they could try to end the first season with the original Season 1 finale, The Siege of the Northern Water Tribe, But that almost feels like it's moving through the material way too fast, and it would cause them problems down the road in later seasons. So everybody post your predictions about what they're going to do with the first season. What do you think the finale is going to be? Do you think that they're going to end with the winter solstice, or do you think they're going to try and speed through and end with the Siege of the North? And I will do more update videos on the production if we get more previews, more scenes, more teasers. That'll all start happening a little bit later this year when they start filming. Everybody click here to learn about the special Azula storyline that they had originally planned for Avatar The Last Airbender Season 4 when there was going to be a Season 4. And click here to learn about what's going on with the Spider-Man character at Marvel and Sony. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody stay awesome. I'll see you guys tonight.